I know a lot of law firms and legal teams are starting to worry they might be falling behind on AI and thinking that you need to be out there rushing right now to start embedding it throughout the entire practice, because we've seen stories about big firms like Kirkland and Dallas doing that at scale, or just one-man bands that apparently have now got a team of agents working underneath them and everything going amazingly well. But I think now would be a really good time just to pause and take some time to reflect on where things are and where they're going before you make any big and longer term decisions. So yeah, sure, there has been announcements about big investments in proprietary AI systems like Kirkland and Dallas, but that's a huge bet that they can build something distinctive enough that's going to add value over what everyone else is going to be able to get by just subscribing to commercial offerings, whether that's from Harvey and Legora or something else like Claude. And it might work out, but it might not. In any event, even if they do build it and it works well, they're going to be on the hook for substantial ongoing costs to continue to maintain and improve whatever it is they build. And that's probably manageable for a firm of that size because it's maybe only 1% of their turnover. At the other end of the market, you've got these sort of AI native startup law firms being set up like Superlegal in the US. And they are offering construction contract reviews signed off by a lawyer for only $117. Now, it's hard to comment on the quality of that service and how much value they're adding over what anybody else was able to do, and whether there's going to be that much of a moat there to protect them against any other firms being able to offer the same service, or basically organizations, customers being able to do something like that themselves. So I would assume that there's actually not going to be that much work around that can support lots of firms offering that type of service at that price point on a profitable basis, because as those capabilities become widespread, lots of firms are going to be able to jump in and do something similar, or clients will just start doing themselves if it's really not that special. And even if it's possible to pump through really high volumes of that type of work in that way, that's not the type of work that I'd want to be doing. I don't find that satisfying and wouldn't want to be doing it as a lawyer anyway. You just feel like a hamster on a wheel, and I think you burn out or become bored really quickly. So I tend to look at that model as being a flaw, which is really a base from which you can start figuring out more things you can do that would be more valuable and that clients would be happy to pay more for. And that's what you'd look to build a new practice around. Something that's satisfying and allows you to spend more time on things you enjoy, like thinking and talking to people. There's also a further question about which technology stack you should use to build these new capabilities. And that's just moving so fast, which is one of the reasons why I think it's worth pausing and taking a bit of time. This year, the world's really fallen in love with Claude, particularly after it's released a bunch of new legal AI capabilities. And I've started testing them, and I've found that quite interesting. And I can definitely see the potential. But at this stage, it also takes quite a lot of work to figure out and set up. And on the Teams plan that I subscribe to, it's quite common for me to run out of credit midway through even basic tasks, and I then have to wait 5 hours to finish it off. Now, I could upgrade my plan and onto higher costs, which would be interesting, but it starts to eat into your costs and your profitability, particularly if you're thinking about how everybody in the firm is going to be using this. Seems to me that if I was going to be using this as a core part of my business that I was really going to rely on, I'd need to up that plan and costs. In a larger business, I'd need to do that for everyone. And we're already starting to hear stories of organizations that are realizing that AI is going to be really expensive when the true cost of tokens starts to be passed through. And that's because currently a lot of the workflows that are being run aren't targeted at areas where AI is actually required and adds the most value. And they're not really very optimized to make the most efficient use of allowed tokens either. People are using quite high quality models to do very basic tasks. So I think all organizations, including law firms and in-house legal teams, are going to need to take a more holistic look at the processes and the outcomes they need to achieve, and then design an approach which uses AI where it genuinely adds a lot of value, but also make more use of other technology which they already have, which doesn't cost nearly as much. Now, good examples of that would be tools within the Microsoft subscription that you already have, such as Power Automate. Another tool that we use a lot, which is very low cost, is Cognito Forms. Now, these tools can handle really high volumes of transactions without additional incremental costs. The other point I'd notice that we're still waiting to see which organizations are going to be the best core to work around, because all of the platforms are rushing to embed AI throughout their platform in the hope they become the single source of truth everyone else has to connect to. Recently, I've seen some really interesting examples of what I manage and NetDocuments are doing in the document management space. In theory, it makes a great deal of sense that your document management system would be the place where all of your emails and documents sit, and AI can then form a meta graph, which is constantly updating every time a document's added or updated, so you can immediately log in and see what's most important. That's what I've seen recent demos from NetDocuments showing. But on the other hand, because AI is now becoming so obviously expensive, do you really want to have every single document across every single matter being constantly reviewed and updated by AI, just in case someone wants to log in and get a real-time update on what some junior has been editing as work in progress? I don't think that necessarily adds that much value, but it will add costs. And what if it's not just the document management system which is trying to provide that level of AI and insight? Are we actually going to be paying multiple times for the same thing, whether you want it or not? What are the practice management systems doing? Are they going to be trying to do the same thing and creating duplication? And then you've got your legal AI tools like your Harvey and Legoras, and what are they doing? As a simpler example, I've now got 2 AI systems, both wanting to brief me in the morning on the content of my emails and calendar and tell me what's most important for me to do today. I also look at my own emails and calendar anyway, because that's just what I like to do. So it's not really helping me, but it is incurring costs. Now, I think in 6 months' time, it'll be a lot clearer where things are headed, and it'll be possible to make more informed and better choices. It should be more obvious by that time what are the AI capabilities that each of those main systems is going to bring to the table. What are the document management systems doing? What are the practice management systems doing? And how are they going to fit together? Who's doing it best? I'd say let those companies invest their own time and money in figuring out how they're going to orchestrate all the workflows, optimize the AI agents so they're all doing what they should be doing in an efficient way and with good safety guardrails built in. You'll also be able to see how much you can still do then with the basic merge capabilities within your practice management system to generate your simple documents, just as you currently do, consistent every time. If needed, you can supplement a specialist document automation system for more complex documents, but through integration, you're still going to be able to draw on matter information which is already known. You'll be able to use AI to be able to enrich that process by pre-filling some of the information, but you'll still get the safety of the deterministic logic, no hallucinations, and reduced costs from AI. So then you're really going to be able to see where AI is going to add distinctive value that you can really use. Okay, that's great. So what are we going to do in the meantime? How are you going to prepare yourself for this new AI future? I'm not saying that you wouldn't play around with this stuff, because that's what I'm doing and finding interesting, and I think it's a really good use of time, but I just wouldn't be locking it in as the way that you're going to work. I think there's a lot of other things you can do over the next 6 months. It doesn't really require you to make 3-year commitments to a technology platform. The most important things that I'd be thinking about right now is what kind of work do you think that a law firm like yours should and will be doing in 3 years' time? Do you see yourselves doing $117 construction contract reviews, or would you like to be doing something else that's more valuable? If you do want to do something else that's more valuable, what skills will you need that you don't currently have? Because you could start preparing to learn those skills or finding partners that already have them that you can collaborate with and building relationships. I think you should also assume that hourly billing is not going to make much sense in 3 years' time, because one way or another, there's going to be a lot of automation and efficiency throughout the systems you work with. Everyone's going to have access to it because they'll be using the capabilities of at least one of the systems they subscribe to. It would be well worth spending time now to think about what value looks like, how you can create it, how you can communicate it, and how you can fairly share in it when the value is not based on your inputs and the amount of time it took you, but it's on the outcomes you can achieve for your clients. Working with a value pricing expert now would pay significant dividends down the line and will most likely help you to understand what you want from your technology and how to choose the one that's going to be best suited for you as well, so you'll make better technology decisions. As you can tell, I'm not holding myself out as an expert on AI or any particular platform that I recommend is the one you should choose. I do think it's worth exploring these, seeing what they can currently do and who seems to be doing it best, as that might be where you want to focus your ongoing due diligence. If you are planning on building your own AI workflows using Claude Cowork or something similar to that, and want to embed your own distinctive AI throughout your firm in a similar way to Kirkland & Ellis, I think you'd be wasting quite a lot of time and money that could be spent better on more strategic things about the nature of your business and the business model. If those are the type of things you're interested in, then that might be the type of thing that I could help you with. I'm always up for a chat if you want to send me an email. I'm pretty sure that one of my AI agents will let me know about it, and we can schedule a time to catch up.